Hey guys, we're back with Mental Wellness Moments. Another time to really reflect on how changing your mental wellness can change your life. And today I'm here with Jane Woodbury, a mom of four gorgeous daughters, right? That's so exciting. And where do you live, Jane?
I live in Longmont, Colorado, just north of Denver.
Awesome, awesome. She's coming on early with the time difference, but hey. So Jane, I would love for you to start telling us in your own terms, right? How has changing your gut brain axis, right? It's three brains. How has that actually changed your life? What was your life before, and what has changed for you?
So, in my early 20s, I had traumatic brain injury from a massive car accident. And back in those days, it was they patched you together and off you went. And I was very, very fortunate to do decently well. I was able to finish college. But my focus always seemed to not be for very long. And so I felt like my brain was just no longer what it had been before. And when I started healing the gut brain axis, it made sense to me, gut brain, my brain was going to be involved in that. But it was almost like there was a connection between the two that stepped up my game. And knowing that I'm in my 60s, I was thinking, well, I'm kind of getting into that age where it's the old brain, the older person brain fog type stuff.
Right.
But I felt like the clarity in my brain was I could rely on not necessarily memorizing long things like I did in high school, but I could rely on my memory. And then I felt a connection for the ability to function longer, work longer. As a stay-at-home mom throughout the years, I felt like if I did a little bit of this and move on to the next project, the next project, the next project, I was able to function very well. But if you put me in a workspace where I went back to work from time to time, maybe for a couple of years here and there, just to help out family finances,
Right.
I could not work a full 8-hour day without a major break at lunch or a major break somewhere in the morning or the afternoon and literally just get away from work. And I don't know how many other people have that, but I truly needed that big break. And now I'm going all day long, not necessarily taking a break. And I feel like the connection of consistency and ability has really been magnified.
I love what you say there because we think often that the brain gets worse as we get older, right? And yet you've improved it. When you say you couldn't make it for those 8 hours, what was happening? Was it just mentally? Was it headaches? What's
It,
going on?
it was like the brain literally had come down to a sludge. It wasn't that I was tired and needed a nap. Like I hear some people like the blood sugar and it was just literally like I have maxed out my capacity to do the work that I needed to do. And I was doing some analysis and figuring and working with figures and whatnot. And it was along the lines of, I could look at my screen, I could look at my papers, and it was just like, it does not compute. So I would literally, and I don't think it's a bad idea for all of us to get up away from the computer in our work and walk around and unwind and then come back to it. But literally, I could do maybe 4 hours at a whack maximum. And then, or if I had to push longer than that, it was just, I was not effective at work for much longer than maybe 5 hours. And then the remainder was kind of, I'm there, but I'm not productive.
Wow, that's amazing to hear. What did you do? I'm curious. We're all curious.
Well, I started using I learned about the microbiome about 5 years ago, and my husband and I were doing the foods and vegetables and the fermented things that help change the microbiome. Had been taking supplementation that would support that. And then a couple of years ago, I found more products that were literally connecting all of the gut-brain axis and incorporating those into our lives. And my husband's not a huge supplement taker, so it was interesting to see that he was interested in that as well. And probably one caveat, and the reason that we, about 5 years ago, were doing this is that I had noticed that over the years, certain foods started triggering things like gas and bloating and things. And we were in alternative healthcare by then to, you know, we knew how to eat right. We knew what supplements were helping and whatnot. And yet here I was having gut issues, and I knew better. I knew the right things to eat. I knew how to be holistic, and yet here it was happening. So even more focus for me was in understanding the gut-brain axis. The message is coming from the gut of dysbiosis might have been part of my issue earlier on, but the dysfunction of the brain down to the gut, because probably things were not ever all connected after that first car accident many, many years ago. So the messages going down weren't getting through. And I have to say, I'm eating anything and everything I want now. I am full of energy, and I feel like I can rely on my brain as an old person in her mid-60s to pull me through, and to know that I can get up in front of a crowd and not freak out. I can be in a crowd, and the outside noises that happen when you're with people, I can disconnect and focus. I think focus is probably one of those blessings that I didn't know that I didn't have it until I lost it. And now to have it back is like, I'm so grateful.
I'm starting again. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this and you have any questions or comments, please put them down below, right? And we can answer them both. Jay and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions around all of this. What would you say now if you have a person who either has this traumatic brain injury or who is actually suffering like with this focus? What would you say to them? What's as a tip?
Look at what you're doing dietarily, because there is an interconnection there. Look at what you're doing. Sleep is a huge issue for me. I didn't even get into that piece, but sleep was precious for me, and not to have good, deep, restful sleep was probably one of the reasons why things never really felt good for me. And now having the gut-brain connection functioning, I am actually getting deeper sleep. I know I'm dreaming again, and I can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day, rather than, oh, I'm up, but that's all I can say about my life. So look to Anne-Marie or myself, just to say, what are the specific things that you can do? Sleep hygiene is great. I'm going to bed without having been on the phone and the computer before, so that when I do go to bed and go to sleep, my brain is in a place that it's not all jazzed and whatnot from the technologies. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I love what you're saying about, right, getting a good diet, right, making better sleep habits as well. And then, of course, look at the supplements that we both have as well, right? I think it's a phenomenal supplement product with Amari Global. And so, and I'm specifically thinking about, when I love to hear your story, is I'm curious about one more thing, which we didn't talk about, is how long did this all take, right? When people say, yeah, I've suffered with this for a year. I mean, you've had since your 20s, right? How long did it actually take for you to feel better with this whole new regimen?
So I felt like I was doing decently well, right? I was in holistic healthcare type things. And I started really conscientiously with the Amari supplements in May of 2018, and felt like on a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably, I don't know, maybe an 8.5, 9. I knew I wasn't super, but I knew that I was decently well. Somewhere in July, my daughter came to me and she said, "Mom, you seem less agitated when we all come over as a family." And I never knew that they even thought that. So the calm and peace of being in a crowd and activity and the ongoing thing happened within a couple of months. within that same month, I noticed that I was waking up refreshed to take on the day. I was getting up earlier than my husband, which had never happened before, and saying, hey, I'm ready to go water skiing. Can you come and take me for a ride? We water skiing is our thing in the summer. So I was getting up before him saying, hey, come on, I want to go and let's be doing something. So that was a shocker to both of us, that it was like, hey, wow, I'm waking up and I want to go, go, go. And then I noticed by the fall, I wasn't having quite the same kind of dysbiotic feeling of gas and bloating. And I'm just a really quick story beyond that. Within the following year, from May to May, I had actually dropped 10 to 12 pounds, which was not a goal. It was not anything that I was looking to do, but just as you know, your pants fit a little bit looser and you get on the scale and you noticed, oh, I'm down a couple of pounds. So May to May, I'd actually lost some weight.
Nice. Well, that's cool too, right? And we all know that, right? Less stress hormones and you start losing weight. So, well, we could talk for hours about this. We both could, but we're not going to do that but again, guys, if you're listening and you have more questions, please contact any one of us. We can get you more information. Your story is truly amazing. We're only just starting, right, Jane? That's what my feeling is like. Yes, we're getting, we're not 20 anymore, but our lives are just starting. And I love your journey and what you're doing. So I'm sure we'll hear much more about you and all the work that you're doing and all this gut-brain axis. And thanks for coming on. Really good.
Thank you.
We'll talk to everybody later. See you guys.
Bye-bye.